Hello students, our today's practical is to determine the biological oxygen demand of a given sample of water. Biological oxygen demand, we call it BOD also in short form. Alright, so to find out BOD, we have to find out the amount of dissolved oxygen in the sample twice at a certain span of time. Alright. The apparatus and the chemicals required for this experiment are burette, pipette, conical flask, beakers, BOD bottles, 2 BOD bottles. Alright. Chemicals are first category is the chemicals which are used to find out dissolved oxygen. In second category of the magnesium sulfate, calcium chloride, ferric chloride, phosphate buffer solutions. These are for the dilution of the sample. Dilution of water sample. Alright, so we need to find out dissolved oxygen for the sample twice. Now before going to the procedure, let's see the theory behind this practical. So one must know what is biological demand. So biological demand is actually the amount of oxygen required through a period which microorganisms used to decompose some organic matter present in that water source, like in pond, in river, etc. So there are microorganisms, there are some organic products, and those microorganisms decompose those organic products either in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. They can do both, but it is better the amount of oxygen is present there, so that the reaction happens will be aerobic and the compounds formed are not harmful, like carbon dioxide, water, and some other stable products are formed. So these kind of reactions, the decomposition of organic matter in presence of oxygen, are known as aerobical decomposition, or the decomposition is happening aerobically. Alright. Now what happens if the amount of oxygen in the water source is less? The organic matter will decompose in the absence of oxygen. That process will be known as anaerobical process, or this happens anaerobically. This will give out CO2, some radicals, and other unstable products which may be harmful for the life, aquatic life, and the animals which are present in water, like fishes. In first step, we prepare the dilution water with which our sample will be diluted, so that it can have sufficient amount of oxygen. So we take 1 liter of distilled water in a glass bottle, or you can use standard flask also. To this 1 liter of distilled water, you will add 1 ml of each of these solutions. Phosphate buffer to maintain the pH, calcium chloride, this should be the concentration of the solution, magnesium sulfate, and ferric chloride solution, 1 ml of each these 3 solutions. Now this becomes 1 liter and 1 ml of each of these. Alright, so it will be a little more than 1 liter. Now you have to pass air through this mixture to make it fully saturated with respect to air or oxygen. So we want this solution to have sufficient amount of oxygen. Okay. Or if we don't have any system to pass oxygen through this sample, we can simply use the filtered water at the place of distilled water, so that the oxygen is already present in the sample and we don't need then to pass air through it. So in second step, you have to take 5 ml of the water sample, for which you want to find out the value of BOD. So this was water sample. Dilute it using diluting water till the total volume is 500 ml. So 5 ml of the water sample plus 495 ml of the diluting water which has sufficient amount of oxygen. So this total of 500 ml, put 250 ml of this diluted water sample in each bottle, 250 ml and 250 ml, and mark it for D1 and D2. So we will determine the amount of dissolved oxygen in D1 immediately on the same day, and for this D2 after 5 days. After 5 days we will find out the amount of dissolved oxygen, and then we will take the difference of the two. So that will be the amount of oxygen which have been consumed. So in step 3 we will find out the dissolved oxygen for the sample we have marked D1. Alright, so we have taken that bottle. We have to add 0.2 ml of manganese sulfate. We have already done this practical, dissolved oxygen, but I am repeating it again. Add magnesium sulfate, 2 ml of alkaline iodide azide solution to it. Shake it well. Some brown PPT will be formed. Make it rest for some time so that the brown PPT settle down at the bottom. After that, add concentrated H2SO4 to dissolve PPT. Alright, so once the PPT are dissolved, it's a clear solution. Now you have to take 100 ml of this solution and titrate it to determine the amount of iodine in it using hypo solution, sodium thiosulfate. This is hypo solution, and it was already standardized, and the concentration of hypo solution here was N by 40. N by 40. Alright, so you will titrate this iodine with respect to hypo solution. So in a similar manner, find out 3 concordant reading for this. This is volume of titrate. Titrate means the solution which has iodine. You have taken, this is 100 ml. And burette reading, initial reading, final reading you will note down, and the difference will give you the volume of titrant, which is hypo solution V2. So you will get V1 and V2. You can apply normalization condition to find out the amount of iodine in terms of normal, because we have taken normal solution for hyposulfate, hypo solution also. Alright, so let's do the calculation once again. We have hypo solution and other side iodine solution. We have normalization equation, N1 V1 is equal to N2 V2. So I am taking iodine here and hypo here. Okay, let me mark it as V2 and this one as V1. Right, so V1 is for hypo and V2 is for iodine solution. Alright, normality of hypo is already given, N by 40. Volume V1 you will get from this equation. N2 we have to find this out, and V2 is the volume you have taken in your conical flask. From here, normality of iodine solution will be V1 by 40 into 100 normal. V1 40 and 100 will come here. So this will be the normality of that solution. Alright, now we want to find out the strength of oxygen. So equivalent weight of oxygen is 8 grams per liter, right? And for strength the formula is normality into equivalent weight. Normality you will get from here, V1 by 4000 into 8 grams per liter. We can convert it in ppm or milligrams. So we can simply multiply this factor by 1000. So if I multiply it with 1000, this will be V1 4000 into 8 into 1000 milligrams per liter or ppm. So this cancelled out. This is 2. Hence the strength, let me write it here, strength with respect to oxygen, or the amount of oxygen or the dissolved oxygen, will be 2v1 ppm. So this is the value of D1, dissolved oxygen, for first sample. So in a similar manner we will find out the dissolved oxygen in another sample also after 5 days. Let's say the amount of dissolved oxygen in second sample after 5 days is coming out to be D2. This is V1 dash and here we have V1. This was the volume of hypo solution in both cases. Alright, so the BOD will be D1 minus D2. D1 because dissolved oxygen initially will be more and after 5 days it will be some of amount would have been consumed. So BOD is D1 minus D2 for how much ml? For initially we took 5 ml of sample. Alright, so we can calculate it for 1 liter or 100 ml or 500 ml because we diluted the solution till 500 ml. So let's say calculate for 500 ml. So BOD for 500 ml will be divided by 5 and multiplied by 100. So this will be the amount of biological oxygen demand, and this term was in ppm. So we can write here ppm because volume and volume will be cancelled out. Units for D1 and D2 will be there, ppm. So this way you can calculate biological oxygen demand for any sample.